G'day folks, so as I'm running around doing my little trip for Ben's New Zealand, I'm finding little spots which I think are quite interesting, a bit quirky. What I'm working on next year is I'm really looking at a lot of the defence space connections that are popping up in New Zealand. That'll be our main thing, is our Matariki year. We'll be focusing on the militarisation of space. And on that point, behind me, we've got the Mount John Observatory, which I'll explain a little bit about you. Unfortunately, if you check out the sign on the right-hand side of me, just over there, it's closed on a Tuesday and Wednesday. We, of course, chose to come here on a Wednesday, which is what a dumbass I am. So, we're standing, that's about as close as we're going to actually get. What's interesting about the Mount John Observatory was it was originally opened by the Canterbury University to look at these amazing clear skies. So, if you look at the last video, I talked about those with the Marama. So, that's what its function was. The thing is, here's the thing. In the 1970s, a very famous researcher, New Zealand researcher, Owen Wilkes, recognised investigator researcher, a physicist on his own right, actually realised that inside of Mount John, there was a secret room, and the US Air Force were actually using Mount John to basically map the stars for the purposes of missile defence and for launching nuclear weapons. So in other words, this thing had a military fucking component. In the when this was discovered, because literally Owen Wilkes kicked down the door and photographed it and exposed the whole thing, everybody got it very, very embarrassed. The Canterbury University, which at that time had a charter saying they wouldn't take defence dollars, got very embarrassed, and the whole thing was shut down. Or so we were told. In the 1980s, Cantor magazine turned around and discovered that, once again, via the Pennsylvania University, that Mount John was actually engaged in US defence research. Now, all these other sites that I talked to you about, these little videos that we're doing, and I'll be looking at things like Mahi Peninsula Rocket Lab, Birdling Flats, Aurora Flats, Oamaru, Twizel, the Wanaka NASA facility. What you will find in even Operation Deep Freeze in Christchurch, what you will find is all these facilities have, on the surface, a very civilian purpose. But once you remove that surface level behind and look at who's writing the checks, it becomes Uncle Sam, because New Zealand, unfortunately, has become very, very immersed in being the backbone in terms of logistics, tracking, radar for the US's advanced missile defence and space militarisation program. So we've become somewhat of a target, but nobody wants to talk about that anymore, because unfortunately our peace movement has died, and the people that are running it are still living in 30 years ago and not looking at the fact that technology's moved on. But that'll do enough for today. Mount John, as close as we can get, and we'll see you another day. Ben's NZ.